you're not able to see true, like Anakin, see his face again until his son is able to bring him back. Hey everyone, welcome back to Rupees Over Ramen, the show where we talk about animation, creativity, the creative process, and tons of other nerdy stuff. Yeah, no, that's really cool. And like that, you talk about like the Roman stuff. It's interesting because I was reading some stuff about Star Wars Rebels and how
Mhm.
there was some actually like Roman and like biblical influence in a lot of like the storytelling and characters. Like Ezra is from the
Mhm.
Bible, and so is
Yeah.
Canaan's real name is Caleb, Caleb Doom, and Caleb is from the Bible. Rex is a Roman name for king, basically. And the idea of like this republic becoming falling and become this empire and tyranny. And there, yeah, there's a lot of interesting things like reflected in Star Wars. And like in the sequels, there's a lot of different things reflected from our own history. And like there's the thing like if you don't learn from history, then you're doomed to repeat it, that type of sentiment. Yeah. So it's just really cool. And something that you were talking about like the Sith coming back and stuff, and something that's really cool to see in Rebels is you see it gives like this, I don't know if any other Star Wars thing does this as much as Rebels does, is it gives this like super deep lore to both the Jedi and the Sith side with like these
Mhm.
Jedi temples that Ezra is finding, and he finds a Sith temple, and like these Sith wayfinders are like these kind of like pyramid
Mhm.
things. It gives you this whole like history and lore that Sith aren't just like this little like evil faction that just kind of showed up one day. Like it's something that's deeply rooted. The Sith and the Jedi are like the good and the bad, like deeply rooted since
Mhm.
the beginning of time, almost like in
Mhm.
the galaxy. And like they have these ancient Sith ruins and ancient Jedi ruins. There, Ezra is able to like talk to Yoda and different
Mhm.
Jedi that have passed on and stuff. And they have Frank Oz voice Yoda, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think Frank Oz.
C3PO is in it, and Anthony Daniels does that voice, and Lando Calrissian is in Rebels, and it's Billy D. Williams. And I love that just sticking true to like the actors that gave those voices so well and just bringing them back. One that was weird is, Wedge Antilles?
Yeah.
Yeah. In Rebels, he's voiced by Nathan Kress. It like sounded like kind of familiar to me, so I like looked him up. He's Freddie, I think that was his name from iCarly. If you ever saw that
Okay.
show, yeah.
I did not see iCarly.
Yeah, he was basically one of the main characters for this kid show that was on Nickelodeon. And then he ends up voicing Wedge Antilles, which is a pretty legendary role. And one thing that I just was I've been recommended tons of videos about Ewan McGregor and like Obi-Wan
Mhm.
Kenobi and kind of back and forth. And he actually talked about how when he went to see first Star Wars, Wedge
Mhm.
Antilles, the guy who was the actor for him, is his uncle.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
why he went to go see Star Wars, was so that they could see like his uncle in the show, and went there just with that basically. Like they didn't really know what to expect, and it just kind of blew his mind, and he was later able to become Obi-Wan, which is pretty amazing
Yeah.
story.
That's really cool. Yeah, I remember seeing that video where he's like, "Yeah, I my uncle was in the movie and stuff."
Yeah, it's
It's
like
funny.
deep in his bloodline.
Yeah.
He was born for the role. So that's pretty cool. Lightsabers are really interesting in Rebels, and I haven't seen
Mhm.
in Clone Wars, but in Rebels they're like super skinny, like
Yeah.
ridiculously
There's a
thin.
yeah, I don't know why they did that, but I think it was a stylistic choice just to show the differentiation between Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah.
Could be. I feel like there could be different ways to interpret it, but like the storyteller is living in the Rebels era, and the storyteller, whenever we see the Clone Wars, that's just a flashback to the glory days.
Yeah.
And like the lightsaber blades are like bigger, and the lightsaber fights are more fluid, and people are quick and fast. I feel like that could be just a way to signal to the audience, like, this is the glorious day of the Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah,
Maybe
like
the skinny lights.
it's kind
Yeah,
of dwindling, like the influence of the Jedi, and that's interesting.
I think I remember seeing something somewhere. Like, there's like a YouTube channel called Stupendous Wave, and this is one of his older videos. But he talked about why the lightsabers are so skinny in Rebels, because they're trying to mimic Episode 4 when Obi-Wan's dueling Darth Vader on the Death Star. Because if you notice, his lightsaber is really skinny. So I wonder if they're trying to reference that and
Yeah,
honor that.
I did some research, and that they said was they animated them to emulate those of the original trilogy. that original look of the lightsabers, where basically
Yeah.
they had these reflective rods and they would fight with them when they would shine light on, because they didn't really have CGI and they didn't have
No.
any really computers, at least in mainstream. So there's some documentaries about the original trilogies and they're really cool because it's kind of
Yeah.
like this ragtag group of filmmakers and artists and stuff that just come together to make this film. And the first one especially, they didn't know how big it was going to be. They didn't know like the influence it was going to have
Yeah.
on
It was also going
culture.
to be a completely different film. Movie series was going to be called Journal of the Wills, and the
Oh,
characters' names
interesting.
were going to be switched around, and it was going to look completely different to what we see today. But I'm glad
That's
it turned out the
interesting.
way it is now.
That's interesting. So now like talking a little bit about like the world building, that's one thing I really love in shows is
Mhm.
like Avatar: The Last Airbender does it really well with all these different creatures and nations, and Rebels does it really cool because they create this Lothal might have already existed, but they really focus on the planet of Lothal, and that's where Ezra Bridger was born and kind of his history and the people there and how the Empire's coming in, taking over more places. And Ezra and the crew of the Ghost are going on all these missions to try to take down the Empire and slow down the Empire. I think it's on Lothal. They find these Jedi ruins and there's kind of like this, it's kind of like a painting, almost like a
Mhm.
relief sculpture, if I remember it right. And it shows all this different Jedi lore, this deep history of like these kind of godlike figures that represent these different things. Like one represents kind of the Sith, and but in interacting with this painting, they're able to travel through to this world between worlds
Mhm.
that kind of connects all space and time. And there's some crazy stuff with where hyperspeed. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. It's raining here. And thunder.
I can't hear any of it,
I'm
but
on like
I guess
Camino.
that's good for your listeners.
I'm on Camino right now. But hyperspeed comes from the idea of hyperspeed, and hyper travel
Mhm.
comes from these creatures that can
Oh, the
travel through.
Purgle, the whales.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they have those in Rebels, and there's some really cool finale with them. I won't spoil it though, but that might have spoiled a little bit of it. But it's really interesting because they show, and it reminded me of Dune because Dune, the hyper travel or whatever, they tie it back to some type of space creature that they learned to do this. So it reminds me of Avatar: The Last Airbender too, where it's like the Earthbenders learned how to Earthbend from the Badger moles.
Mhm.
And like the
Oh wow.
airbenders learned how to bend from the air bison. And I don't know what waterbenders learned how to bend. Oh, the moon. Yeah, they learned how to bend water because of
Okay.
the moon.
I was gonna say like a whale or something.
Yeah, the moon taught them. But in this world between worlds, Ezra is able to see this battle between Ahsoka Tano and Darth Vader. It's when Ahsoka realizes that Anakin is Darth Vader. It's like this really interesting, powerful moment because I think his helmet breaks a little bit and you can see his eye, kind of like they did in Obi-Wan. And you can,
Yeah, I wanted to comment on that. So
yeah.
a lot of people have noticed that I don't remember which side. I'm just gonna say the left side of Anakin's or Darth Vader's mask is torn up, but then the right side of Anakin's mask is torn up by Obi-Wan. So Ahsoka does the left side, Obi-Wan does the right side.
Oh,
And then some people
interesting.
have done like comments online saying like they were able to crack the mask, but they were never able to take it off until Luke Skywalker did.
Oh, whoa. Dang. I got
Yeah,
chills.
it was like I was like, dang, that's so sweet and really really tragic.
Yeah, no, it is. Because you see this in that moment, you see this like struggling little boy, basically like young Anakin under there, and he's imprisoned in this life that he's in now. And yeah, both Ahsoka and then Obi-Wan try to break through to him, but you're not able to see true like Anakin see his face again until his son is able to bring him back.
Yeah, it's like the his closest friends couldn't do it until like his loved one was able to.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's beautiful. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to research real quick who did the music because, like, John Williams does the music for Star Wars. Everyone knows about
Mhm.
him. He's pretty legendary. But who did the music for Rebels? And it's
Mhm.
Kevin Kiner.
Yep.
He was the one who did it for Rebels. And I found out that he also did the music for The Bad Batch, Clone
Mhm.
Wars, and apparently also the Ahsoka Tano show, which is interesting because it seems like I haven't seen it, but I heard Ezra is in it and Sabine is in it. And they're kind of bringing back a lot of these things from Rebels in that show, which I think is interesting.
Yeah. And in the Mandalorian show, they also brought back. Do you know who Bo-Katan is?
Yeah, Bo-Katan.
Yeah, and they brought the actress, the voice actress who plays as her. They brought her as a live action actor as well in that,
Yeah,
and she does a really good job. And they've done that with some other people. I don't know who. Lars Mikkelsen.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
they
yeah,
did that
yeah,
with Thrawn as well.
yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting how they're like, yeah, we like the voices, and you guys kind of look like your animated variants, so we'll let you act as well, which is got to be really nice to the actors.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of loyalty to the fans because they know like
Mhm.
people really have gotten connected to those characters and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if they did that with Ezra. I was looking
Mhm.
at the guy who voices Ezra. He looks like he could definitely play like an older version of Ezra, but I haven't seen the Ahsoka Tano show yet, but oh, I was just gonna say the Ghost is really cool because it's kind of like I said, it's kind of like their Millennium Falcon, but each of
Mhm.
them has their own like room in that space. And one thing I remember is Sabine, she has hers like tons of graffiti and stuff on the walls. So each of them makes the room their own. They're able to be like this kind of, there's this really cool found family aspect, which I really love, where all these people come together and develop this family and are able to support each other and help each other.
Yeah, there's like so many great lessons in that. You can find safety and familial care in people that you love and trust, and I feel like that's such a good thing, especially like during times of struggle or trial. Just find a group of people who really lift you up, who really care about you, who honor and respect you, but also like just have your back and stuff. I just love that aspect of Rebels where it's the Clone Wars is very thematic and huge, and things are happening all over the galaxy. But with Rebels, it's really focused on like a singular group of people who really care about each other, and that's the part I love about Rebels. I've only seen like one or two episodes and a whole bunch of clips online, but
Yeah, yeah.
that's the part I love.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And when you were saying that, I was thinking about just how Star Wars does that really well too. Just like having
Mm-hmm.
that found family aspect of all these different people coming together, supporting each other. And yeah, we're running out of time, but yeah, thank you again so
Oh,
much for
yeah.
coming on the podcast. And it was really great talking with you and
Hey, it was
catching
great
up.
to talk to you, man.
Yeah, and everyone, may the force be with you. Thank you all so much for listening. See you guys next time. Peace. Good times are ahead, so grab a nice hot bowl of ramen, some chopsticks, and join in on the discussion every month.